Today I am going to deal with hemoglobin buffer. We know hemoglobin plays an important role in the respiratory regulation of pH. And the role of hemoglobin buffer in the transport of carbon dioxide is very important. That is isohydric transport of carbon dioxide that is possible by this hemoglobin buffer. So we can see these two topics, that is hemoglobin buffer and also the transport of carbon dioxide together in this class. So coming to hemoglobin buffer, we know it is the major buffer in RBC and it is directly related to the respiratory regulation of pH. And the buffer capacity of hemoglobin varies with oxygenation and deoxygenation. And in the oxygenated form, that is the R form. Again the deoxygenated form, that is a T form. So this R form, T form, again oxygen dissociation curve, all these things we have discussed in one of my previous video. And so just have a look on that also. So come back. We know during metabolism, there will be continuous production of carbon dioxide in tissues. So what happens means this HbO2 that is in the R form, that undergoes a conformational change. And again this oxygen is released and instead H plus ions will go and bind to this. So for every molecule of oxygen, when O2 it is released, hemoglobin bind with one H plus. So it will bind with one proton, forming or switches, this R form switches to the T form, that is deoxyhemoglobin, and the oxygen is released and it is taken up by the tissues. So that's what happens in this transport. So coming to transport of carbon dioxide. And we are seeing that is during metabolism there is continuous production of carbon dioxide in tissues, and these carbon dioxide that diffuses to blood, and it is carried by the following three ways. That is, first one, dissolved form. Almost about 10% of carbon dioxide is transported as a dissolved form. That is, it combines with water, CO2 plus H2O, producing H2CO3, and again it is then converted to HCO3 minus plus H plus. And the second way, that is the carbaminohemoglobin. That is almost 15% of the carbon dioxide is carried as the carbaminohemoglobin. That is, carbon dioxide binds with the hemoglobin, that is known as carbaminohemoglobin. And while this transport, there will be negligible change in the pH also. And finally, there is the isohydric transport of carbon dioxide. So that constitutes about 75%. And there comes the role of hemoglobin, that is the isohydric transport of carbon dioxide. So we can have a detailed look on this isohydric transport of carbon dioxide. Isohydric transport of carbon dioxide and chloride shift. Isohydric transport means there is a minimum change in the pH during the transport. Actually, here comes the role of hemoglobin. That is, the H plus ions that is produced are buffered by the deoxyhemoglobin here. And let us see what happens in this transport. So first we can move to the tissue capillaries. We know in tissues after metabolism there will be production of carbon dioxide. And the circle, that is the RBC in tissue capillaries. So let us see what happens inside the erythrocyte in the tissue capillaries. So from tissues, this carbon dioxide diffuses into the RBC. There it combines with water, producing carbonic acid, H2CO3. Here comes the enzyme carbonic anhydrase, that is fastest enzyme, carbonic anhydrase. And then this H2CO3, it is then dissociates to HCO3 minus plus H plus, that is bicarbonate plus proton. And this bicarbonate formed is then diffuses into plasma. So in order to maintain the electrical neutrality, this chloride ions shift into the RBC. And this is known as chloride shift. Here the chloride ions enters into RBC from plasma in order to maintain this ionic equilibrium here. And this H plus formed by the dissociation of this carbonic acid that will combine with the hemoglobin. We know here what happens means HbO2, that is the oxyhemoglobin that comes from the lungs, dissociate because of the increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide here, that dissociate or switches to deoxy form. This Hb combines with the H plus ions forming deoxyhemoglobin. And the oxygen that diffuses into tissues, so that this oxygen can be utilized for further metabolic process there. So this is what happens in the tissue capillaries. So I will explain once again. As a result of metabolism, carbon dioxide is continuously produced in our tissues that diffuses into RBC in tissue capillaries, combines with water, producing carbonic acid, catalyzed by carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic acid dissociates to bicarbonate and H plus ions. This bicarbonate shifts to plasma. In order to maintain the balance or maintain the equilibrium, chloride ions shift into RBC, and this is known as chloride shift. And there we know there comes the HbO2 from lungs inside the tissue capillaries. And this HbO2, since there is increase in partial pressure of carbon dioxide and decrease in partial pressure of oxygen, this HbO2 or this O2 releases from hemoglobin and it enters into the tissue. And the hemoglobin in turn binds with H plus or receives the proton forming deoxyhemoglobin, HHB. So in tissues, the partial pressure of carbon dioxide is high and carbonic acid is formed. It ionizes to H plus and HCO3 minus inside the RBC. HCO3 minus bicarbonate and proton. The H plus are buffered by the deoxyhemoglobin, HB, producing HHB. And bicarbonate diffuses out into plasma. Here, this carbon dioxide is transported from tissues to lungs as plasma bicarbonate without much lowering of the pH or without significant lowering of the pH. So that what happens here. And this deoxyhemoglobin on reaching lungs, what happens? Let us see. Now let us see what happens in the lungs. In the lungs, we know the partial pressure of oxygen is high. So what happens? Oxygenation of hemoglobin occurs. And the protons that released in the RBC combine with the bicarbonate producing carbonic acid, which then dissociate to carbon dioxide and water, and that carbon dioxide is expired out. So see, from the inspired air we know oxygen that entering into the lungs, and there the partial pressure of oxygen is high. That is, inside the lung capillaries the partial pressure of oxygen is high. And thus here the HHB, deoxyhemoglobin, that dissociate into H plus and HB. That HB combines with our oxygen or carries the oxygen, HbO2. And the H plus combines with the bicarbonate producing H2CO3. And this bicarbonate that comes from the plasma, that is the bicarbonate that transported from the tissues through the plasma. And this entering into the RBC. And in turn we know there will be reversal of chloride shift, that is chloride ions from the RBC again shifts into plasma in order to maintain the ionic equilibrium here. And this bicarbonate combines with the H plus of this deoxyhemoglobin producing H2CO3, carbonic acid. This then dissociates into carbon dioxide and water. And we know the carbon dioxide is then expelled out from the lungs through the expired air. So this is what happens in the lung. So in the lungs, partial pressure of oxygen is high, so oxygenation of hemoglobin occurs, and the proton released in the RBC combine with the bicarbonate to form the carbonic acid, which then dissociate to water and carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is expelled out to the expired air. So this is what happens in the isohydrate transporter carbon dioxide, and we have seen the chloride shift, reversal of chloride shift, all those things related to this. So that's about the transport of carbon dioxide and also the buffering role of this hemoglobin. Thank you.